Hello, hello. A pleasant day. I'm Thea Josephine F. Caballero. You can call me Jessa for short, and I'm a TCP student. Today, I'll be presenting about planning for collaborating and teamwork. Here, so this is part of inclusive instruction, and below this one is Paraeducator Supervision and Support. Here you will learn some of the terms used in various countries. For example, teaching assistants in the United Kingdom are referred in the United States by various titles such as paraeducator, paraprofessionals, aides, or technical assistant. So, how do they differ? How are they the same? Well, in the United States of America, even among full time workers, nearly 40% of paraprofessionals work less than 8 hours per day. Yeah. Most paraprofessionals who provide educational instruction, they work for the traditional 9 to 10 month school year. And paraprofessionals can spend much of their time standing, walking, or kneeling. Those who work with students in special education settings often perform more strenuous tasks. When we say strenuous, it includes lifting. Yes, they help students with their daily routines. Many schools require previous experience in working with children, valid driver's license, or background check. Those were some of the requirements. And paraprofessional must know how to keep records, operate audiovisual equipment, prepare instructional materials, and have adequate computer skills. Those were some. And here in Australia, as what you can see in the upper on my left side, right? They are accountable to the school administrative officer for contributing planning and delivery of curriculum with participating teachers. Yeah, so it could be in a small group or a one-on-one basis under the direction of the teacher or a director. So generally, they organize, prepare materials, resources for specific activities. So those were Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. As you can see, we have here, what is a paraeducator? Well, you mean from the word para, right? Paraeducator. The federal government provides a definition under the No Child Left Behind Act, or what we so-called NCLB, which states that a paraeducator is an individual employed by the district working at a preschool, elementary, or a secondary school level. They are employed to work under the direction and supervision of a certified teacher. A paraeducator can be employed in special education, language instruction, or other educational programs, as what Ashbacker and Morgan in 2006 states. So those are what we call paraeducator. So it's very clear, right? Yes. Okay. So their typical roles, they can provide clerical support for classroom teachers, such as health, attendance records. They supervise students in the schoolyard as well or on field trips. They also specialize in a subject such as math or science, the secondary level. Okay, so let's have in Title 1, Part A of the NCLB, paraeducators are defined as the persons who provide instructional support and includes those who, first, provide one-on-one tutoring for eligible students. If the tutoring is scheduled at a time when a student would not otherwise receive instruction from a teacher. Second, assist the classroom management, such as organizing instructional and other materials. Third, provide assistance in a computer laboratory. Fourth, conduct parental involvement activities. Fifth, provide support in a library or a media center. So those are some typical roles. The next one, yeah, they are also known paraprofessional or teacher aides. They support and benefit both teacher and students. So, however, maximizing the effectiveness of paraeducators in the classroom requires proper supervision and of these support professionals by the teachers or administrators under whom they work. So, as you could see, they ensure all educator candidates demonstrate knowledge of the paraeducator standards of practice. Second, prepare teacher candidates to direct paraeducators working with students in the classroom. And the third one, prepare administrator candidates to supervise and evaluate paraeducators in school. As you can see, we've got here some certificate. Yeah, it's like uh, some of the courses that are needed for them to take. Those are because they support educational outcomes, demonstrate professionalism and ethical practices. So, how are they going to have a positive and safe learning environment, communicate effectively, and participate in the team process? And the fifth, demonstrate cultural competency. So, here are some of the major or the core competencies that they should have. So, if you have that, well, congratulations, you can be a paraeducator one. So if you will give that kind of certificate, there, there. Okay, so paraeducators need appropriate supervision and support from teachers to be effective in their roles, contributing to the inclusion and instruction of students with disabilities. However, previous research has demonstrated that teachers are unprepared for their supervisory role and report a lack of meaningful coursework and other learning experiences related to paraeducator supervision in teacher preparation programs they attended. Therefore, to gain insight into current practices in institutions of higher education, IHES, as they relate to preparing pre service special education teachers, they will work effectively with paraeducators. The authors conducted national online mixed methods survey of this one. And the majority of those respondents, they found out that pre-service teacher training on paraeducators to be important. Yeah, it's really important. But over a third reported that no coursework is allocated for this topic, and the majority shared that pre-service teachers do not complete any project or assignment related to this supervising paraeducators during their preparation program. So you see, there are several barriers. So yeah, several barriers to be an effective training for service teachers to support this and supervise paraeducators. They were identified, for example, the time, priority, clarity in the standards and resources, as well as suggestions for improving preparation programs like improved coursework, more opportunities within practicum experiences, working with paraeducators. So that's it. And specifying specific content to cover through the standards are shared. This importance of exposing pre-service teachers to content specific to managing paraeducators and the need for further clarification of competencies pre-service teachers they need relative to paraeducators is discussed right these days. So as well as directions for future research are also offered. So that's some of their mitigations. Isn't it a good news, right? Of course, most especially for those who will be taking paraeducator course. Okay, now we've got here some ethical, legal, and proper issues. Yeah. First, we should know the school requirements, right? Then for dress codes. Yeah, because we've got it most especially in Magna Carta, right? For teachers, You can read there some of the dress codes that should needed to be followed. The next one, confidentiality of student records. And as you can see, Drug and Weapons at or near a school. Then the last one, ethical and proper behavior expected of TAs and paraeducators. So those are some ethical, legal. Okay. So let's move on to the next page. As you can see, we've got here some laws, Data Privacy Act, right? And I cited three of the most or major acts for confidentiality. So we've got Philippine Data Privacy Act of 2012, DPA. Then the second one, Data Privacy Council Education Sector Advisory Number 2021, Data Privacy and Online Learning. And the last, Republic Act Number 11650, that was amended last March 11, 2022. So it's really fresh, right? Okay. So, as you can see, there are a lot of complaints, hearings, legal opinions, and lawsuits on issues surrounding the training and supervision of paraprofessionals, and it's increasing. Some training has also been developed for supervising teachers, and a few programs have been developed for teacher and paraprofessional teams. This will help lessen the complaints. They must be know the school requirements for dress codes, confidentiality, student records, drug, weapons, and many more. Right? Okay, for so here are some enabled to because these laws seek to ensure student and parental rights to privacy in the educational record. So it's really important that we should know this major laws. And it could be remit for confidentiality covers special educators and their interactions with general educators, paraprofessionals, related service personnel, parents, students. Knowing and abiding by these laws regarding confidentiality provides protection for student educational records and for education personnel. Okay. The next one we've got here, Code of Conduct. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I would like to elaborate more on confidentiality. For example, we got the information about a student, and it might be seen in a student's individual education program, or as what we so-called IEP file. Yeah. So if school policy permits paraprofessionals to review a student's file, they can. And it is important for the paraprofessional to know the student's goals. But other information such as disability profile information, it should be concealed. It should also be made clear that other records contained in the filing cabinets are not to be accessed. Now then the next one, code of conduct. Well, this generally relate to ethical and honorable behavior that protects the rights of children to be safe and to learn. No school requirements. We've got school premise issues, parking, dress code, identification, reporting, school safety issues, discrimination, and confidentiality. Okay, so for code of conduct, it considers a set of rules that are deemed proper for teaching assistant or paraeducator when conducting oneself in the schools. This generally relate to ethical, honorable behavior, right? As what we've read. Okay, for the first one, we've got here the dress code. Oh, yeah, later on I'll be. Hmm. We've got first the school premises. So as you can see for school premises, often a group of paraeducators, they will travel together to the schools where they work as paraeducators. So this is prearranged with the school administration. And you may ride a school bus or other public transportation. So you must learn the time schedule and when you are to be at school. know which door you should enter, or do you need to sign in or check in at the office before reporting to the classroom? So those were some of the school premises you should be able to, to be or to get alarmed to. Right? And next one, parking. In most cases, where you may walk or drive your car to the school, there are some things you need to know. You could ask your teacher, where can I go? Where can I park? Do I need a parking permit? Does it cost to get a parking permit? Yeah, it has right now. Okay. Then we've got the dress code. Most schools, they have a dress code that specifies what you can and cannot wear at the school. Your group has a special uniform, such as a shirt that has embroidered logo, right? You will want to wear that shirt whenever possible. And if not, you could ask the teacher what you should wear. More specifically, there are some things that you cannot wear to the school. Most likely, these are clothing like t-shirts with swear words or obscene pictures, shirts that show bare, right, midriffs, cleavage. Yeah, you could ask those teachers and read about what is and is not appropriate for your school. Then the next one, identification. Th- This pertains to your name or how you wanted to get addressed. If you want to be called Mr. or Miss, or is it just your first name? You can discuss it and agree it with the teacher. What's what kind of identification or yeah, because you became one of the adults in the school, right? Who is there to help children learn. So that's why you must present yourself in a professional manner. Again, next one, reporting. When the teacher delegates important roles to you, it becomes very important to the teacher, right? And the student you are working with, that you are on the job to do what is required of you. However, there may be times when you're ill, unable to go to school. So, what should you do to let the teacher know you will not be there to work with the students, right? So, those things you can consider. Next one, school safety issues. Yes, so we would like to think that there will never will be an emergency in the school, but just in case there is a problem, schools conduct safety drills for fire, earthquakes, other emergencies, right? So we must learn what drills your school will have and what your role will be if you are present when there is an emergency. The next one, discrimination. So, as paraeducator, you must guard against treating students unfairly because they are different in any way. You should be aware that discrimination against students on the basis of race, color, religion, gender, disability, or age, it's illegal. However, you may notice that not all students have all the same assignments. Students have individual learning needs. So, teachers must make distinctions between students in the work they assign. Teachers do this in order to meet individual needs. This is a positive practice and not discrimination because it is based on the student's educational need. Next one, confidentiality. Well, this is an important concept. At least two federal laws require confidentiality. It means you should not talk to other people who do not have, yeah, it's a law, federal law. You should not talk to other people who do not have a need to know about the students you work with. You may not tell anyone about a student's disability if you know it, because there were some people who may appear physically fit, but you didn't know they have some kind of disability like ADHD, right? Mental health problems, or it could be physically there. You may not look at students' records or share their information with anyone. So never do it. Okay. But there are instances you could ask your teacher what you should say if those parents want to ask you for information about their child or other children, because there were some teachers who will ask information about others, right? Yeah, there were some parents like that. So it's better you will ask beforehand to the teacher as educator. Then you could write what you could say and you could keep your written record to refer to when you need it. Right? I guess that's clear. So we've got here some of the example: IEP objective, lesson components, purpose, instruction, modeling, guided practices, and closure. So for this one, you can try to test the TA, teacher assistant, or paraeducator. You can have a quiz, a short quiz, right? So for example, IEP objectives, we've got dress code. Okay, so those teaching assistants will dress appropriately within the code standards. So it should be 100% of the time while in the classroom setting. Okay, and the objective there to teach what clothes and styles are appropriate in the classroom and which are inappropriate. For the purpose statement, you could state there the importance when working in special education department, right? Because dressing appropriately, it can affect the performance of students and other teaching assistants. The next one, because as a professional, we should not wear anything, right? Just like we are obliged to inside our school. The same thing with the teachers because we must walk our talk. We are the model and they're following us so that it would be fair as well to them. Then instruction, and well, you could discuss here or yeah, discuss orally about what is appropriate, inappropriate in the classroom. Then you could lecture on the importance of following dress code, the styles there. For modeling, of course, this is the time you're going to show you could yeah, this is the time you will show some pictures, some flashcards with her that are wearable in the classroom. And you could show even yourself how they are dressed, right? Okay, for guided practice, well, you can have some oral responses. You can read out loud and make them read out loud, and they will give some oral responses concerning dress code. Like, do can I wear a scarf shirt? So, for example, they will ask like that. Rules for skirt length. Then, do leggings count as pants? Something like that. And you could also provide some pamphlets for true or false quiz like that. Yeah, wearing leggings, suspends, or underskirts that length reaches above the knee are appropriate. True or false? Okay, for instances. Okay, so we've got here some potential error connect. Yeah, potential error corrections. Read specific areas of dress codes. Bring out contract signed by TA. Show the examples clothing. Yeah, so what I've said earlier. Okay, so that's clear, right? So let's move to the next page. We've got here ethical and proper behavior. So here are some do's and don'ts, in other words. For the hair, behavior at work, dress, appropriate behavior with the students. Okay, so let's start with, hmm, yeah, when you walk into a classroom, how you look will be your first impression, right? To not only your students, but to your coworkers. And you want to look professional and ready for the job. So the other teachers need to trust you and feel you are an asset to their classroom. There are many behaviors that you should follow as a paraeducator. Number one of that is our hair. You should have your hair just the natural color. If you were born with the black ones, so maintain that. If you were born with a red hair, well, that's good. Congratulations. That's your natural hair. Maintain that, right? You should not. You could also pull out your face and not in a distracting style, like some of the common nowadays, right? A lot of bangs or something. Yeah. The students will become easily distracted, and this would only hurt their learning abilities. And for the dress one, you should wear clothing that follows the policy of your school. Yeah, because there are some in each premises, right? You will take note, you will work with kids as paraeducator in an environment that it may require you to sit on the floor, kneel down, you will do whatever it is, right? So, of course, you will not want to wear clothing that is too tight or restricting from you being able to help your students in the way that they may need. You will not want to wear a shirt, right? Or a skirt as well that can be revealing in any way. Okay, so next, appropriate behavior with the students. As you can see here, show them respect and that you care about them, but there are boundaries. How you interact with students is important in the classroom. You want to show them respect and that you care about them. So, for example, we've got here boundaries. What is this? Well, you may have a student who develop a crush on you. Okay, states for an instance, and you will want to make sure that their crush is not encouraged. When creating relationship with your students, you want to be sure that it is kept within the boundaries of student-teacher relations only. Your job is to help the students succeed in school and that they are in a safe environment. So they must really feel that they are safe with you. Okay, behavior at work. Hmm. Okay, as what I've said here, always on time, act professionally, set aside phone, follow your school's procedures and what is appropriate to talk with or around students, right? The, you want to make sure you're always on time. So they count on you to be there. So just you must be there also the entire time, physically and mentally, right? Because once you're a professional, you should not be on your phone as well, right? Okay, for the time, it reflects respect. If you stick on your word that it should start this time, you should start at that time, because they will really respect you. You follow, for them, you are a reliable teacher. You are always on time. Okay, so because if instances you will set a time and you are late or you will appear 1 hour late, next time they won't believe you anymore, right? They'll just say, "Oh, it's okay. Teacher will just came late, so let's just go there maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes late," right? So they won't respect you anymore. And once you are there, you need to act professionally, right? So if you have emergency on your phone, you should follow our school's policy. So we should not talk about students with other students. Yeah, we should only talk about students' needs with our coworkers, their needs. That's it. Because this is not a place of gossip, it's a place of learning. And our conversations must be appropriate. It should follow school's procedures, what is appropriate to talk with or around students, right? Yeah. Saying things like about the date, it's considered one of the inappropriate, All right, so I guess that's clear. Next one is appropriate physical touch. You know, it's very important that we are aware of what is considered appropriate physical touch. Because according to American Association of University Women, 65% of girls and 40% of boys reported that they had been touched, grabbed, or pinched in a sexual way. So even if they just touch you, right? And 3.5% of these children claimed that their abuser was a school professional. Imagine, it's a school professional. And most educators are responsible. But on the school and district level, there are reports of innocent school personnel being accused of physical or sexual abuse. Well, fortunately, they were found not guilty. Yeah. So there are policies put by those administrators. And to prevent these problems for inappropriate physical touch, right? Well, policies, it could be differ from school to school because the term appropriate physical touch is very vague and subjective. Oftentimes, the school district may not have defined what is appropriate, right? But as a paraeducator or TA, it is most important that you identify school policies. Leave no room for misinterpretations. Preventive measures are the best. You could use those here, some of the common sense pointers provided by National Educational Association. And first of it is never be alone with a student. If in case you're alone with a student, you you keep the door open, right? And if you are alone there in an isolated room, just keep the door open. Second, maintain a professional demeanor and distance. Then avoid physical contact with students. Just a high five. It's an acceptable acknowledgement. It's it meant job well done, right? Okay, and something beyond it. It's not like some who will touch your touch your clothes, right? Your under undies, as what teacher says. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Okay, and here are some of the resources if you want to check more about what I've said and what's written here in PPT. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you have learned a lot. And don't forget to uh, comment on the section below. You could give more of your insights or ideas about it. Okay, so thank you so much. Once again, I'm the reporter, Thea Josephine F. Caballero, PCT student taking TCP. So see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.